Hello everyone, welcome back to another quick live. Just really wanted to give everyone an update to let know, well, I couldn't get my words out then, but to let everyone know how the fish are doing after I've been struggling with dealing with Costia. But I just wanted to inform everyone how they're doing, what it's looking like at the current situation and where we're at. So just a real quick rundown of what was happening. So I've recently been dealing with Trichodina, Costia, and I've tried absolutely everything to get rid of them apart from the salt root. But yeah, basically the fish are much happier at the moment. The red veininess coming down on some of the fish definitely disappearing. They're looking a million times better than what they were. The Shuro down in front of me was the worst. That fish was absolutely glowing. I'm still not saying I'm 100% out of the dark, but it's a time waiting game really, more than anything. It's just a waiting game now to see how they're going to do over the next couple of days. So for the people that are unaware, the Trichodina and Costia has been an absolute nightmare for me, but I don't give up. To be fair, it was really beating me up. I was getting quite down about it because me fish are me pride and joy. And yeah, basically I hit them with a second dose of PP, back off the back, or back to back as they call it. And I was a bit, you know, do I, don't I? Something that I've never done before. I know PP is a very strong treatment, and I didn't know how much more the koi could take for how much I put them through the night before anyway. But it definitely seemed to work. It definitely seemed to do the trick. And that one just had a little flash then. But there's been a lot going on, to be fair, and they've just eaten some food, so there's been a hell of a lot going on for them, so stressful. And like I said, I don't believe that I'm completely out of the mess, but they're a million times better than what they were. I mean, for the fish where they were at, completely bashing themselves, boshing themselves, going absolutely berserk, they've settled down a lot, a hell of a lot. But it is a waiting game, to be fair. One advantage, I haven't lost any fish. I do believe if I didn't do anything that day, that I would have lost some fish. I would have had some casualties for sure. But yeah, they're all doing a million times better. Obviously at the moment as well, with the amount of PP that I've put in, I'm also going to be up against battling the new pond syndrome pretty much, with the amount of PP that I added to this pond. Starting off the cycle again, keeping up, you know, keeping my eye on the ammonia levels, spikes, and building up the beneficial bacteria again in the filters as such. But that's something that I'm not worried about. I know how to deal with that. I know what to do. And I know the most important thing is slow and steady with the feeding. The fish load and the impact with what's already in the pond as such. Gotta go slow and steady, especially the temperatures. Building up beneficial bacteria this time of year is a tricky line anyway, let alone after you've absolutely wiped out your filters completely. So the trickling's constantly on my pond, which is a massive help for me. The water that comes out of my tap supply is a massive help for me because it's very good quality that I'm pumping into the pond. But it's all slow and steady. So yeah, I'd like to say hello to everyone that's watching. I will catch up on some of the comments in a second. But I just wanted to inform everyone because the amount of people that's been concerned and messaging me on my Instagram page, the text messages or the comments on some of the comments, I had to take myself away from it because it was doing my head in. I was getting really frustrated with it, and I didn't know really what I was doing was the best of the knowledge that I have, what I could have done, to what I normally know that works, to what I normally know that does the trick. So that wasn't supposed to be a punt, but dealing with Trick and Costia, and especially dealing with both of them two things at the same time, is an absolute nightmare. I mean, some of the fish bellied up upside down, suffocating them, because the Costia were just, it wasn't a 1 or 2 on the slide that I found, it was absolutely riddled. I apologise about the screen shaking a little bit. I haven't got the tripod out. I'm just literally just holding the phone for you, doing the best that I can, hanging out my conservatory window. But yeah, massive thank you for the support that everyone give me, and some of the tips and advice people were trying to give me. But when you're dealing with koi problems, and I suppose in effect you can see Tango down there still having a little bit of a scratch, when you're dealing with koi problems and you do everything you possibly would normally do, you sort of don't know where to turn, because it's sort of like you want the problem fixed immediately, and these sort of things doesn't happen. They don't fix immediately. What were the fish symptoms with the parasites you had? Well, I'm not going to repeat all of that over and over, because I've made a load of lives about that already. But fish clamped up, fish flicking, fish flashing, fish bashing themselves against the pond walls. But I've been dealing with this for the last month, ever since I introduced a new koi to the pond. I've had nothing but issues, but we're slowly getting on top of it. Slow and steady, as they say. It's not been the easiest month for me. Content at the moment with dealing what I'm dealing with, obviously it's slowed down a little bit. I've got a upcoming video that's due to come out this week, but obviously my head ain't been in the game with editing videos, because I've been more concerned about making sure my fish is all right, and that's been more of a concern than what it is for me to make content and put content out. It's part of the reason why I've been updating you guys live, because it's a lot easier to just let people know what's happening than what it is me trying to edit videos and make out that everything's all right, and it clearly wasn't, and it clearly isn't, because there's no point me hiding behind the camera saying everything's good when it might not be. I'm true and honest, and I like sharing what I do and how I do things on this channel, and it's something that I'll continue to do for the rest of the time I'm on YouTube. But we are getting there. You can see the fish are looking 100 times happier than what they were. But it's not one of them things that you can just click a button, one day you're bad and the next day you're perfect, because putting treatments in your pond upsets the whole balance of your water quality. It upsets everything. So yeah, we're slowly getting there though. Where does your saying of thank your mother for the rabbits come from? New to the channel. Well, it's, to be fair, it's something that my granddad used to say years ago when we used to go fishing. Something that he said in our family for a long time. To be fair, thank your mother for anything is just something that we say. But there is also a fisherman called Rex Hunt that he says it as well. But if you look it up on the old Google, and I'm not going to tell you what it says, but if you look it up, what does thank your mother for the rabbits mean? It is a Devon saying. I live in Devon myself. But if you look it up what it actually means, you'll be a little bit interested. So that'll give you all something to do later on, won't it? But yeah, that's just one of the sayings, one of the little catchphrases, what I say on the channel. And it's sort of one of them things that I've said all my life. If I go fishing, anything really. But yeah, you can certainly see, obviously Tango's still having a little flick now and then, but I don't want to be putting the net in constantly, you know, grabbing another fish out, scraping to see what I've got there. I mean, koi can quite easily live along, you know, alongside parasites in a pond. What treatment you put in a pond never ever gets rid of every single parasite in your pond. As long as the fish are healthy, that's all that I'm concerned about. It's upsetting the balance of certain things. Obviously, if parasite issues take over and the fish act like mine were, laid up on the bottom. Only reason I asked James, Kushuri and all that are quite weak in terms of PP. If you get the PP crystals, they are normally a lot stronger than powder. Yeah, I used the I did use the Kusuri, and I do understand what you're saying. But I suppose in that term, it's living and learning with the koi keeping. I mean, I've been in the hobby for a long time. I've always used the powder in the past, and it's always got me out of the shit, or it's always got the fish a lot healthier. I've never hit them with a double dose. I mean, they've been hit with PP this month 3 times. They've had a 3-week course of malachite green and what's the other one called again? Jigs, ride it in for us. Use the man. Can never say it, I'm dyslexic. Formalin, is it formalin? I can't never say it, but they've had a 3-week course of that at a strong dose, and that didn't seem to work. I did get told as well, FMG and malachite green formalin, I did get told by a couple of people that if you're dealing with trichodina as well, that chemical is absolutely useless to try to get rid of trichodina. The only thing to get rid of trick is PP. Whether or not that's true or not, I'm not 100%. Hello, Big Al. How you doing, mate? Hi, James. Did you read my message on your previous live broadcast? Getting greetings from the Netherlands. To be fair, mate, I don't think I did. I'm not 100%. I was a little bit distracted, and I haven't caught up on the YouTube comments. And I apologise to everyone. I mean, I've had over 500 messages come through, and I just really haven't got the time to, you know, read every single one. I try my best. But with what was going on and everything, my whole concern was purely about the koi themselves. Surprised you haven't had flukes. Yeah, I did have fluke as well in between the mix of all this lot. So after the course of that, I have treated for fluke as well. But I don't want to be, at the moment, the way the fish are, I am still seeing the odd one flick. They've literally just had a little bite to eat. And I'm not saying I haven't got fluke in the pond, but for what's gone on over the past sort of 3 days, I just want to leave them alone for a little bit. I don't want to be whacking the net in, getting another one out, scraping another one, stressing them out again, adding another chemical to the pond. If I feel happy that they're all right where they're to at the moment, then I'll leave them be and see if they settle down a little bit. Sometimes by doing nothing also helps, but there's also times where doing nothing, your fish will die. And yeah, if I left my fish from the state they were when I got home from holiday, and I mean I was only away for 3 days, but if I left them, especially if I left them in the morning that I decided to come live after a PP treatment, every single one of my fish I believe would have been dead. That morning after I got off the live, they were absolutely going berserk. There was fish upside down, bellied up. Obviously the costia around the gills, suffocating them. How quickly that parasite can multiply is unbelievable. They do say a costia infestation within 2 or 3 days, all your fish can die. So I had to do something, and I was recommended to soak the pond, bring it up to 0.9, but I believe my fish have never dealt with soap before, apart from the occasional soap bath when I've had a wounded fish, or I've tried doing other things with soap over my koi keeping career, but my fish have never been dealing with soap, and how stressed out they were anyway. I believe if I was to raise my soap levels up from 0 to 0.9 within the day, to do, without bringing it up to those type of levels, the soap wouldn't have worked anyway. People told me to bring it up slowly over the course of 3 days, and I didn't think that I had that time to do that. So I sort of made a decision myself. And I mean, koi keeping is that. You decide to make a decision what's right for you and what you decide to do. The advice that I was given off of professionals, different koi dealers, different people in the hobby, I decided to pick one of them, one that I had here to hand, and I give it a go. Seven the Legend is in the house. Evening, buddy. Pond looking good. Keep smiling, mate. Yeah, it wasn't easy, I'm not gonna lie. I was very concerned and worried about my fish, what was happening, where they were to, what was going on. And to be fair, everything that I've done, everything that I did, I didn't know what else to do. And that's sort of why I've never really asked for help. My whole koi keeping career, I've never needed help really. And I was stuck. And it's just great that we got a great koi community to sort of help, you know what I mean? I personally would do a 50% water change and then soak to 0.6, buddy. Yeah, I still might have to go down that route, because I don't believe, like I was saying, I don't believe that I'm right out of it yet. But I just wanted to give them a, I believe there's still a little bit of flicking going on, don't get me wrong. There is still a little bit of flicking going on. But they're not sat on the bottom and they're not clamped up. And I think for what the fish has already been dealing with, they need a little, even though parasites are not giving them a break as such, but they need a little bit of break from stuff going in the pond. I mean, the flicking and the flashing might still continue for a little bit, but it also might be down to the water quality. There's been a lot of chemicals in this pond in the past month, and if I just keep chucking more and more chemicals in, or soap, or whatever I decide to chuck in immediately, I thought it would be best if I just sit on my hands for a couple of days, see how the fish actually react with nothing in the water, and just see how they get on. That's what I'm sort of planning to do, where I'm at with it at the moment. You can see all the fish, they look a million times better than what they did. So it could just be a waiting game for me at the moment, because the odd flick and the odd flash is always a sign to look out for. But I do know myself personally, there's been a lot of stuff in this pond. So that could be upsetting them as well a little bit. I did debate whether to put like a clay in the pond, a Koi Masters Advantage, or some description of that. But then I did think that will irritate their gills a little bit. It's something they're not used to again. They haven't had that in the pond for a while. I didn't want to cause more irritation or more stress than what's needed at the moment. I just want to make sure I'm pumping good water to the pond and keeping as best possible water quality as I can, and hopefully slowly build up the filtration again by, I'm only feeding twice a day at the moment, morning and evening, so the filters has got as much time as possible to process what's going through. And they're literally having like 15-20 grams. They're hardly having anything, because I know my filters have gone to shot, and how cold the water temperature is at the moment, I really can't put any more than that in anyway. I'm glad the fish are on the mend, and it's hard getting stressed out, but it's hard that your pond, that your proud enjoy at the end of the day. You got to make sure they're 100%. They are like having kids. Yeah, totally. And I mean, as you can see, you know, I wouldn't have come live and told everyone yet. Everything's fixed, everything's done, and James the Koi Whisperer sorted it all out. He knows what to do, and he's done everything, because I'm not. I'm being open and honest with everyone, and I still don't believe that I'm out of it yet. But like I was saying, just got to wait and see what's happening. Jack Amados, evening, mate. Looking good. Thank the Whisperer for this. Hope you got your cup sent out to you as well, mate. I think that went out yesterday or the day before, so your cup will be turning up soon. Everyone else who's won competitions as well, there was a load. I think there was like 10 cups gone out this week. Because of the, when was it? Tuesday morning they all got, no, Monday morning everything got picked up. I was a bit lost track on days, to be fair. But yeah, we're just going to give it a go for a little bit, in the way of leave them, let them be. Unless I still continue to think that they're constantly flashing. I mean, they have just had some food. Do you know what I mean? So the odd flick and flash, by not having much this month, the odd little bit of food that they're having, you expect to see a little bit of that sometimes after a bit of food anyway, don't you? So I'm just going to observe them like I've been doing for the past couple of days, and just see how I react. But all of the red veininess, that's all disappearing. Do you know what I mean? And it's almost instantly disappearing. So any progress on the grow on pond? Yeah, that video will come out soon. I can't be giving all away that information already. But there's also a new pond there's a new pond built already, and it's living inside of my conservatory right now. Built that for my son's birthday. We had a cracking bit of fun, so the next video that you come out, that's going to be in that. And it's about me teaching the younger generation of how to build a pond, how to keep a pond, and just a bit of fun, really. Bit of DIY skills of having a little bit of fun with it. So that video is going to be out soon. Mrs. Whisperer wasn't too best impressed that we put another pond in the conservatory, but it's more like a tank pond more than anything. And he's going to be keeping some fancy goldfish in it. That's mostly what the Japanese use, PP and soap. But yeah, I'm not going to be on for ages tonight. I appreciate we got 161 people watching us. I've got to give Jack the Bowden Reefer a phone call in a minute. I don't know if any of you guys follow Jack, but I've got to give him a holler on the old mobile. Nice to see them active after you having the problems. Can't believe we get 158 people tuning in to see the Koi Whisperer. You can see that one still having a little flick. Still not exactly happy. But hopefully it will start settling down. But you can all see they clearly look a million times better than what they did. If I just zoom in, you remember how red and veiny this fish was? I'm not saying it's completely clear, but that's looking a million times better than what it was. I mean, she was glowing. And you always want food, don't you? There's never a dull moment with a chag in your pond. Because you're the absolute hammer. He's almost trying to eat my phone right now. You can't eat it. It's a phone. I know you want more food, but you're not allowed it. They all want more food, but none of them's allowed it. This one's got a bit of PP on its nose, look. So yeah, we're looking a lot better. Some of the marks on the fish banged its head, flashing around. But this one was red and veiny. The pec fins on her was absolutely glowing. She has lost the scale, but those things will heal and come back, and I'll be able to get that back. Just slow and steady, that's all. Slow and steady wins the race, as they say. But they all want food, but as a lot of you koi keepers know, just because they're coming up like that and they want to eat it, I can't be pumping it in, because if I chuck in too much food and I get an ammonia spike, water quality starts going downhill, then the fish gets sick, and then it's a long process to get them back. So slow and steady over the course of the next couple of weeks. Keep the automatic feeder running, so the same time of food going in, the filter systems have the same time to process what's gone in. You're the one and only Koi Whisperer, James. You're a top bloke. Appreciate that, mate. So what the scoop? What do people really think caused the bacterial incident? Hiya pal, my pond is not heated. Is there the right temperature to use FMG? Yeah, 12 degrees. If you use it under 12 degrees, it will not work. Same as PP. If you use PP under 10 degrees, it will not work. Really, the higher temperature, the better. You want to be sitting around 16 to 18 really, for your chemicals to be working better. And there's a lot of things said about when you're using chemicals. About a lot of people say when you're using PP about put as much oxygen into the pond as possible with your shower filters running, have them flat out. Well, I was speaking to a few people, and you get different sort of feedback from it, because basically if you're using shower filters and you're using shower filters to like gas off problems or gas off different things or whatever, like chlorine will gas itself off in 24 hours. Well, gassing your chemicals off, which is going into the pond, people said like to actually slow all the flow rates down so you're not running it over the showers as quick. Whether that is something, but it did make me think a little bit. It makes sense a little bit, I suppose. If you're running your chemicals over a high flow rate, or your oxygen's at maximum, and you keep FMG in the pond for a week and you turn up your air filter, you're just gassing that. You're gassing it off as well. Trouble is with PP, it strips all the oxygen from the water. It does. But you know what I'm trying to say? By putting more oxygen to the pond, adding more, you're better off just to keep the same amount that you normally put in than adding any extra. I don't really know either way, but it did make a bit of sense, some of the comments that I read. Would love a pond like that one day. I'll help you build it, mate, if you like. But yeah, that's about it, guys, because I've pretty much talked myself out and I got a bit of the old dry throat. So I needs to go in and have a cup of coffee, and then I needs to ring Jack. But basically I just wanted to let you all know where I'm at, because there was a lot of people concerned. And yeah, wanted just to say thank you everyone for having me back as such. But at the same time, I wanted to share with you guys, because I could have kept it all a secret. You know what I mean? I could have quite easily not made a video. I could have quite easily not showed you what's going on, what I've been dealing with, and make out the koi whisperer never gets a problem. But there, where does that get me in life, and where does that get everyone else? Because everyone in this koi keeping world at some stage will get a problem. And I don't care about those people that say, I've never put a chemical in my pond for 20 years and I've never lost a fish. Well, I say you've been bloody lucky, because at some stage there will be a problem. But you live and you learn, and it's about, you only learn from what you know. And the more you know, the more you learn. But that said, thanks everyone for watching the live, very much appreciated. I've been yibbity yabbiting, jibbity jabbiting. And on that note, thanks for watching this little live. And if I don't see you in a week, I'll see you through the window. Thank your mother for the rabbits. Bosh.